Hello. All right. I am very excited about this Tuesday morning. I am here with Danny Scott from the most amazing company that you've probably possibly never heard of. And that's called CoinCorner. And they are from a very little island on the Isle of Man, right here out in the middle of nowhere. And so cool, close to all of the best musicians that have ever lived. All right, the Liverpool's right across the pond over there.
Yeah.
Danny's got 17 years of experience in software development, technical beast, and no stranger to Bitcoin. CoinCorner has been around since 2014. So they are from the old school. In fact, one of the first 10 exchanges to globally to integrate with the Lightning Network. They have, they nearly broke the internet the other day with their Bolt card. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And they've been through a lot. They acquired Coinfloor last year. We're going to touch on that a bit. And Danny's a busy guy, but we're not going to keep him too long. We got a list of questions here from our Lightning Ventures Syndicate, and we welcome you today, Danny. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that introduction as well. Thank you for having me on here.
All right, cool. So now listen, is it true? Okay, it can't be true. It's got to be a rumor, right? That you are actually running a profitable company. Is that true?
Just about, but yes.
Does that exist in this day and age?
Yeah, I think that's is in this industry, in the startup world as well. Yeah, it's appreciated, it's incredibly rare. I think we've a little bit of background on CoinCorner. We bootstrapped CoinCorner pretty much from day one, from back in 2014. And we've driven with the mindset of creating an actual real business model, which might sound crazy to people, but a real business model that actually becomes profitable. And we have been since 2015, 16.
All right, awesome. So you heard it there. It can happen. You don't need to be blowing tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. You can build a company and be profitable. And I don't think, with the exception of a small angel investment, I don't believe you've ever raised money before. True or false?
True. True, kind of, yeah. We had $200,000 investment back in 2015. From a small angel investor here on local high net worth individual in the Isle of Man. But yeah, since then we've not taken any further funding. We've had conversations with venture capitalists over the years. We've struggled to find many, especially in the UK, that vision aligned. They wanted blockchain and ICOs and tokens and everything you can think of in between. And we wanted to kind of focus on Bitcoin, which was unfortunately just didn't really align with the visions that they had and we had. So we never took any further funding, and we just buckled down and focused on creating a real business model that was profitable and bootstrapped.
All right, so let's do a quick who, what, when, where, and why. Now, CoinCorner is no joke, okay? We're talking, they are live right now in over 40 countries. Yep. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Sadly, not the United States just yet, but we're talking about over 40 countries, 330,000. Now, my numbers might be slightly outdated here, but I'm showing 330,000 registered users.
Yep. Yeah, slightly more now, but yeah.
192 million pounds GBP flowed through CoinCorner in the last 12 months.
Yep, that was 2021's figures. 2022 is already looking bigger. Yeah.
Okay, so that's an exchange product, right? That was the first product to come online. Do you want to talk about why you started this company and what the idea was from the beginning?
Yeah, sure. So we were, as you touched on earlier on, I'm a software developer by trade, and I got interested in Bitcoin in sort of 2011, 12 times. Didn't really pay attention as much as I should have done back then. Poked around, ended up mining Bitcoin and some other altcoins with quite a large graphics card mining setup that we had. We did that all here in the Isle of Man, so electricity costs are UK electricity costs, which are incredibly expensive. That as soon as the Bitcoin ASICs started to come out, we did have a few of them, but they became still incredibly expensive to run with UK electricity costs. So we decided to wind the mining operation down. But we had already by this point bought into Bitcoin as this global currency. And at the time, this was still very, very early days. So 2013, 14 times, and we wanted to stay in the industry. So at that point, we were looking around. One of the things that we found incredibly difficult when we first got into Bitcoin was actually just buying Bitcoin. It was back in 2012, 13, 14 times, it was still incredibly difficult. So we saw, I guess, a gap in the market there from the UK perspective as well, where we felt that we could fit in as a onboard ramp or an on-ramp for buying Bitcoin in the UK and then eventually into further fields in Europe and so on. So that was kind of where we fell into place there. Here in the Isle of Man as well, the Isle of Man has its own government. It's actually the longest, some Isle of Man history thrown in. It's actually the longest running government in the world, I think. There's some terminology for that, not quite sure on. But that means it has its own laws. It bases everything pretty much off the UK laws, but then can do its own, and it can adapt very quickly because it's a smaller jurisdiction. So they adopted the Bitcoin kind of approach or the Bitcoin industry very early on in 2014. And they jumped on that, and we worked with them, with the Financial Services Authority here, the Gaming Commission here, every, I guess, legal government department you can think of. We've worked with them along the way, helping educate them along the way with Bitcoin, helping them draft guidance for the legislation that sits around ourselves at CoinCorner and other companies here. We've also helped draft guidance as well for the Gaming Commission here to help gambling companies accepting Bitcoin as a payment method. We actually have our own CoinCorner. It's called the CoinCorner payment method, I think, in the gaming guidance, the GSC's guidance notes. So we've worked quite extensively with them here, and that has allowed us, I guess, from a global perspective as well, to be at the forefront of regulation from a Bitcoin perspective, and allowed us to keep at the forefront and keep in front of all the competitors along the way, where we've had a regulator that we can go and sit down with and have the conversations with whenever's needed and required. So it's been incredibly beneficial over the years, and that put us in an incredibly strong position globally. That allowed us to have banking relationships as well earlier on in the sort of 2014, 15 times that other people struggled with. So we had our incredible benefits of being here from a regulatory perspective, banking perspective, and others, which has allowed us to grow to where we are today, I guess.
Okay, so let's talk about all of the products that you have. As I was doing a deep dive into CoinCorner and we were doing our due diligence, I was shocked to see how many other products you have, right? A lot of people are used to the DCA sort of stacking companies that are popping up all over the globe, right? I mean, it just seems everywhere you look, in every new territory, there's a new DCA sort of product. CoinCorner has a lot more than that. CoinCorner has an API product. They have merchant solutions. They have some form of rewards. And they have the new Bolt card. They have a series of licenses already obtained and some coming down the pike that are going to allow them to do a whole bunch of other things. So can you talk about just briefly a little bit of each one of these. If you want to screen share, you can. I've got a few things that I'm going to screen share here in a little bit. We're going to go over some competitors, but all of these other products, what do you see as the future or the bulk of CoinCorner's revenue and the makeup of all of that right now?
Yep. Yeah, cool. Thank you, Mike. I'll start high level. We have obviously the website. Surprisingly, you still see in this industry sometimes a lot of people are app only, for example, or maybe website only. We do have the website that you guys, B2C customers and B2B customers, can log into and have lots of functionality, which I'll come on to in a minute. We also have the mobile app, so that's on iOS and Android. So that's more of an easy cut down version of the website in some respects, but you can do all the core functionality as you would buying, selling Bitcoin, sending, receiving Bitcoin, Lightning, and everything in between. We also have the merchant app as well. So from a B2B perspective, on Android and iOS, the merchants can download that and they can use that as a point of sale device as well on their mobile phone. We then have some of our other products you touched on there, the cashback. So we were the first in the UK to do a Bitcoin cashback product. So you can shop at over 1,000 UK merchants, some European as well, where you can click through from, or we actually have a browser extension you can install. So when you're on one of the websites that offers cashback, the browser extension pops up and you can click the button. Whatever you spend on them websites, you'll get a percentage back in Bitcoin into your CoinCorner account. We have, do you want me to run through the rest of the products as you're scrolling through?
Go for it. I'm just giving people something to look at here.
We have the payment gateway, which is for the merchants, the B2B side, so they can accept Bitcoin payments, Lightning payments, on their website, in person via the app. They also have email invoices that can be created for cross-border payments and things like that. We have a lot of merchants that operate in that space. We have plugins as well. If you're a merchant that has WooCommerce, Magento, OS Commerce, so on. We have plugins for all of them, so they're quick and easy. WooCommerce, as an example, is a quick zip file that's downloaded from ourselves, uploaded into your WooCommerce setup, and that's pretty much it. You're throwing in some API keys and your website can be accepting Bitcoin payments within 5 or 10 minutes. We also have the DCA. I know you touched on the DCA with other people as well there. We do have a DCA option, so you can buy Bitcoin regular via GBP straight into your account. We also have the bulk card, which is a first and only card in the world. We kind of created a equivalent of what you would see as the Visa and MasterCards of the world, but actually this is using Bitcoin Lightning rather than Visa or MasterCard. So this is purely Bitcoin Lightning as a contactless tap and pay card. This is interoperable with other Bitcoin payment providers around the world. So BTC Pay Server already have this integrated and working. We have a couple of others, probably about another 5 to 10 others that are going to be enabling and turning this functionality on in the next couple of weeks to months, which some of them are going to be quite large. I'm sure you can imagine the El Salvador side of things and the POS providers there, all going to be enabling that. We also have some products that are not on the website there that we were just looking at, but we also have from a more traditional legacy financial side. We have a bank account offerings for GBP and Euro clients coming very soon. We've been approved from that side from a regulatory and the product perspective there. So we have all that approval now, which will also tie in with your Visa card, which we have a Visa debit card coming. The Visa debit card will be tied to your CoinCorner account, and you will be able to spend as you tap and pay or chip and pin and pay with your Visa card. That will actually allow you to spend in your GBP in your CoinCorner balance, your Euro in your CoinCorner balance, or your Bitcoin in your CoinCorner balance. And that will instantly be converted on the fly, which is if you've got Bitcoin, you go into the shop, you pay with your Visa card, you have no GBP and no euro, but you do have Bitcoin, it will automatically flip the Bitcoin into GBP and make the payment via GBP over Visa network. So this means it's a true Bitcoin debit card rather than being a top-up card that I think the majority of the industry operate on at the minute.
So I saw it live in person in Miami when we met up for a minute. You had the Bolt card there, worked like magic, tapped to your phone, topped it up. Really cool. Yeah. And to my knowledge, this would be the first card where you could spend holding Bitcoin and have it convert on the fly. You said supposedly there might be some other solution that's not perfect. I've yet to find one, right? And that's the frustrating part, is you have to sell Bitcoin, load up $500 or so worth of fiat, spend that fiat. You never get that price appreciation, of course, in a market like this. It would have been smart to top up, but converting on the fly, so cool. So cool. And then that CoinCorner Bolt card now works everywhere, right? You don't have to have an integrated merchant, right? Or BTC pay server or anything. You can just live on that card and use it with the traditional rails, which I imagine you're getting some of the interchange, and that's going to be the rev share for you on that.
So the Visa card will be working with traditional, so that'll work everywhere Visa's accepted. The Bolt card will only work at the minute with ones that are integrated, so the Bitcoin payment providers. What is great about, so that is the BTC pay servers and other ones that are starting to introduce it. What is great about that, though, is the way we built that. That will actually be what we're working with now, and working with a lot of legacy payment providers around the world, is to introduce Bitcoin Lightning payments into their systems and their offerings, which will work with the card. So the hardware, for example, that is out there already, which has NFC capabilities, which is the contactless near-field communication, which is the contactless payment method, that will then work seamlessly with the Bolt card eventually. So that's kind of an integration that will be ongoing with various legacy payment partners around the world. So yes, eventually that will be the way to do it, and that will, that's competing on a Visa and MasterCard level. The Lightning Bolt card now is competing against Visa and MasterCard, which, talking to legacy financial institutes that we've been talking to over the last 6 months about the card, they're realizing that this opens up doors to something bigger, global, interoperable with many, many more companies that will slowly start to squeeze Visa and MasterCard transactions on a global scale down. So that is, I guess, the direction we're looking to drive there.
Awesome. So just so we're clear for everyone, if you are a CoinCorner merchant and you are using their point of sale product, that in turn will work by default with this NFC card. So if you're running a coffee shop somewhere in Europe or the world, I suppose, and you're using the CoinCorner app on a tablet or your phone, that's all you need for that Bolt card to work day zero, right? Yeah. Without the Visa integration.
Yeah. It doesn't touch the Bolt card. Is pure Lightning. Doesn't touch anything to do with Visa, MasterCard, or any legacy rails. Okay,
so let's talk about some of these competitors. Okay, what do we have here? Who is your major competitor as you see them? This is what I have here to look at. You want to run through some of this?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah. So I think what we're kind of seeing on the screen here, included in this, is kind of a wide range of things. So Coinbase, for me, we still see it as the exchange, the casino, should we call it these days? The platform that people are going on to trade cryptocurrency back and forwards. They are making their money on speculation. Their revenue model is the speculation of crypto assets. So they need constant new coins on there, new speculation of different coins going up in value and down in value. So that's kind of their business model and what they do. So we don't quite sit with them. We don't quite sit with really any of these competitors on here. They all have crossovers in certain ways. So they can all buy and sell Bitcoin, for example, or majority can. But they don't all have, I guess, the products and they're offering. We're going down. Bitpanda are very similar to Coinbase. They've got lots of tokens, lots of coins. We focus on Bitcoin. Strike are probably the closest in that respect. They focus on Bitcoin. They are hitting the Bitcoin payment side with Lightning, also from a cross-border payments remittance perspective. And they are actually moving into now the POS side of payments for Lightning payments. So Strike slowly become the closest competitor in some respects. Strike, however, are just in the US, which actually means that even though we're not in the US, they're not in Europe. We're kind of competitors from a distance, but not as direct at the minute, I would say. Strike, however, they're doing great things, marketing and driving Bitcoin very well as well for the community and the industry, which is really, really positive. They don't quite have the, I guess, functionality and features that we do across the board. So they're still early days, I think, in developing their products out as they grow. So Fellow, as we touched on, they're very similar to, not quite the Coinbase and the Bitpanda realm of altcoins, but they're more in the European sector and the European direction of things. So they would kind of fit in for what would be more of a UK and a European competitor for buying and selling Bitcoin. Lolly was just kind of included in there from the cashback perspective. We were the only ones in the UK with that cashback offering. Lolly were the ones in the US with that cashback offering. We don't have the US, they don't have the UK. Similar to Strike, they're a competitor by products rather than the geolocation. So with all them in mind, I think what we have from a product offering and the direction we're going in terms of trying to make Bitcoin an everyday use case, an everyday payment method for the world, for the globe. What we're doing is there's not really anything that's comparable to us in the market at the minute in terms of the suite of products we can offer. And right now, I think it's interesting or amusing what you said earlier on about one of the coolest companies, most unknown coolest companies in the Bitcoin space, or with the terminology was used. I think that is certainly the case in some respects, not the coolest, but the unknown piece, where we have a vast array of products and offerings that we have and have customers using out there. But now is the time we want to drive this global and move away, not just from the UK, but move really into push heavily in obviously Europe and the UK still, but obviously in the South Americas and the African territories as we start to expand Lightning payments and the bulk card offering.
So just to run through this company timeline here, this is 2014, mobile app and API. One of the first places in the UK to buy Bitcoin with credit and debit cards. Remember the good old days when you could buy Bitcoin with a credit card? I think those are pretty much gone here in the US. I don't know what's going on over there, but okay. Yeah, so oops, there's that small angel investment you were talking about. Did I just lose the damn thing? Did I? No. Okay. There's the small angel investment you were talking about. Turned a year old. Support for Euro. Started working with the Isle of Man government, advising them on what is Bitcoin. Poker Stars, that's the gaming that you were talking about. Okay, Team of 10 in 2017. Segwit, love it. First Lightning node, 2018. GBP card withdrawals. Okay, more gaming. All right. And, you know, there's a lot of what, when you acquired Coinfloor, what was the main reason? Was that a distressed sale? Was that a strategic? Were you looking to just acquire their users? Because they were a big name years ago.
Yeah, I think Coinfloor were one of the oldest UK Bitcoin exchange. We'd had a relationship with them for many years and kept some form of communication over the years. A couple of years ago, I spoke with Obi there, and we was having the conversations around mergers and acquisitions and where we were in the industry and the cycles. And we bounced a couple of ideas off each other in terms of some sort of merger at the time. We kind of put that down and we were busy. The industry started to pick up again, and we got busy. We both got busy. We both got distracted with the industry and running the businesses. We then picked up conversation again in summer 2021, I think that was. About July 2021, we were having then the conversations. Obi was effectively looking for an exit in some way, and they were coming out of the UK. At that point, the UK FCA crypto register was becoming a pain for a lot of companies, and that was forcing, it did in all honesty force a lot of companies out of the UK. We've seen quite a variety. I think CryptoPay left the UK. We've had two relocate here to the Isle of Man, which is Fast Bitcoins and Bittylicious. Bittylicious as well, being one of the oldest in the UK. I think they've been around since 2012, I think, as well. Coinfloor as well, they were looking to leave, and it became a bit of a mass exodus from the UK because the regulation they introduced was a little bit too intense, I think, for most people. So timing, I think, for Coinfloor was just the right time for them. I guess they felt to exit, and they wanted to be acquired effectively by somebody that they trusted along the way, and they felt that they could push, they could hand their customers over to us in a trusted manner, and we would continue to drive the Bitcoin direction and focus on Bitcoin only. They didn't want to sell to a casino like Coinbase's. So it kind of fell in place a little bit from ethoses that matched and who we were. We'd known each other a long time. They trusted us with their customers funds, and we were doing everything that they were wanting to do going forwards as well. So it fit quite nicely, and it felt a good fit, I think, at the time. And we acquired them in October last year, 2021. It was all rather rushed because of the FCA crypto register deadlines. We actually only had about 3 weeks to from start to finish of completing the whole acquisition, including migration of all their customers and funds and everything into our platform, which is what we did. And our team here smashed it in the 3 weeks, and did an incredibly great job, as did the Coinfloor guys as well, and the team there in helping handing everything over. We didn't take their platform and their IP in any respect. We just took the customer base and the relationship they had with the customers and the domain names alongside that as well. We moved everybody across within the 3 weeks. Very, very few complaints, which was an incredibly, I guess, a great achievement for the team here and for the team at Coinfloor. We had incredible feedback from the customers, and ever since them customers have come across, they have been nothing but positive and great advocates for CoinCorner now. I think I think as with any relationship you have with a business, especially like in having a finance relationship with a business, if you get handed over to a business you've never heard of, or maybe you've heard of but you've never used, you're always going to be skeptical, or you're always going to be cautious about that new relationship. However, the feedback we've had has been incredible and really good, and most of them customers come across have all become advocates for CoinCorner now, which has created an incredibly powerful community here in the UK from our side and from the Bitcoin side. So that was a great deal and a great smooth process, hopefully, for everybody. If anyone didn't have a smooth process, message me.
Okay, so we got a few more things, a few questions here. I want to have a little bit of fun though. So what it says here in your deck is that you actually sold a Bitcoin for helicopter. I'm sorry, a helicopter for Bitcoin. Can you talk about that?
We can. So I think we've now sold 4 helicopters for Bitcoin. So there's a company called Hill Helicopters, who's one of our clients. They do pretty cool and orange helicopters as well, which is even cooler. Very Bitcoin orange. They were a client of ours towards the end of last year. and they have they're about £500,000 helicopters, I think, in the region. And yeah, we sold 4 of them over the last 6 months or so, I think that's been. So yeah, that was an incredibly interesting one to originally get over the line, and that they have these. Are you pulling up the website? That is it just the press release, I think there, yeah. They're really cool looking helicopters as well, really, really good. But they do it in a really cool way where you, they're cheaper, I guess, than what you would imagine a standard helicopter, because they have some sort of regulatory cutout where the helicopter's built pretty much 90%, and then whoever buying the helicopter has to fly over to the UK or go over to the UK, wherever you live, and finish building the helicopter with them. So you build the last certain percentage of the helicopter with the company themselves and put it all together before you take it away. So yeah, incredibly good, good fun and good story.
Okay, 2 more things here real quick. Let's talk about the licenses that you have. Let's talk about the licenses that are upcoming, right? On your competitor list. Now, you've listed lending. Lending is a very sensitive topic, especially right now. You have it on there though. So these licenses, and then you also have something interesting with your potential exits or something that's in your goal, which is basically an IPO one day on the Isle of Man stock exchange, which I have to plead the ignorance. I didn't even know that Isle of Man had a stock exchange.
We don't have a stock exchange. It'll be the AIM, the alternative investment market in the UK. So it's the London Stock Exchange. So it would be that one. I'll come back to that in a minute though. So yeah, licenses. We here in the Isle of Man, as I touched on earlier on, worked with the FSA here, Financial Services Authority, for many years. The GSC, which is mentioned there, which is the Gaming Commission, and the FIU, which is the police force effectively for that. We have the Isle of Man designated business registration, which is something we've sat on since 2016. That's under the FSA. That covers all your AMLs, checks, and so on, which I guess everybody around the world now is becoming a standard thing for Bitcoin businesses. We also here in the Isle of Man have a money lender license, which isn't mentioned on there, I don't think, at the minute. This is slightly outdated information on the screen there, but we have the money lender license now in the Isle of Man. As you touched on there, Mike, yep, lending is a little bit of a touchy subject in the industry right now. We haven't gone live with any lending products at the minute. We were looking to go live towards the end of the year, but they were going to be pure Bitcoin-backed loans and almost on a peer-to-peer basis. So there would be no risk of, I guess, what's going on in the industry right now. We'll be removing that risk if we go ahead with that. We also we already have approval for the UK banking piece that I touched on earlier on. So we can offer to our clients a GBP bank account and a Euro bank account. They are all held with, or the GBP bank account, for example, is held with the Bank of England. And that's through a company called Modular, which allows us to offer that to our clients, B2C and B2B. Also on top of that is the Visa card. We have all the Visa card approval now as well from Visa and from the banking side. So they are products that are just now in the pipeline from the technical perspective to be finished integrated and go live. That actually sits us under the Modular. It sits us under the UK FCA as an EMD agent in the UK. What we've got on the screen there is also the EMI license side under the UK FCA, which we'll also be going for. That's an Electronic Money Institute license in the UK. And the UK Crypto Register, so I'm fast tracking some of these, but the UK Crypto Register as well is currently about to be applied for as well. So we have all the applications in the background now for them to ready to go, just waiting to be submitted. They may take Crypto Register. Well, obviously, we can guesstimate at 3 to 6 months for that approval. Everything that they've done on there, we've been doing for years in the Isle of Man. So there's not too many differences between the two. So all good from that front.
Okay, Danny, real quick on the team, how many full-time employees are at CoinCorner right now?
We are, I think, at 25 at the minute, full-time employees. Still expanding, still hiring at the minute. We've got another 4 or 5 jobs out at the minute. I think as you see in there is pretty much the kind of management team. Have industry knowledge from myself and some of the guys. We've got banking and hedge funding background. We've got corporate services backgrounds, head of compliance. We used to work for the regulators, regulating banks, and 20 years plus now, I think, in regulation. So on, we've had a couple of guys that have done Bitcoin core development, who's Zach down there, and the head of tech, done a bit of Bitcoin core development. And yeah, so there's quite a few there that I'm just thinking of other people on the team that are not actually on the screen there that I was going to mention, but we'll leave them for now.
Okay, so 2 things. We're going to talk, and then we're done. I promise. You can go back to work. You can go back to work right now. Okay, so what are you most excited about with CoinCorner coming up, right? Because there's so many different things, right? You have the API, you have the bull card, you have all of this stuff kind of pending. You have your numbers and users and a hockey stick growth. I don't have that chart here, but it's in the memo for everyone. It looks fantastic. So what are you most excited about? What are you sprinting towards, if you can talk about it?
Yeah, there's a few things that I can't quite disclose just yet, but we have a lot since the launch of the bulk card about 4 weeks ago now. We have picked up a lot of conversations from some of the biggest UK banks. We've picked up conversation from global payment processors around the world that we're looking to help integrate Bitcoin Lightning payments with, which will also be compatible with the bulk card. We have partners, potential partners all around the world, from South Americas to the MENA territories to Asia. We've got conversations going on all around the world. So we're very excited, I guess, from at the core, pushing Bitcoin Lightning payments as a payment option. And that's in-person payments, online payments, global cross-border payments as well. So I think that's one of the big things we're excited about, bringing Lightning to everyday uses, whether that's in person or online. South America, we're very excited about. There's a real demand, obviously, from you've seen in the El Salvador side. There's a real demand for actual financial infrastructure in these places. So we want to, I guess, have a heavy push into the South Americas and the MENA territories, where we'll start to see, again, they struggle with banking and visa access and so on. So these are the exciting parts for us, are hitting, I guess, at the minute, the territories that really have that requirement for a financial infrastructure, digital financial infrastructure in their countries, and Bitcoin payments in them countries. So that is, I guess, at the minute, as much as I can disclose on some of that. But yeah, that's going to be hopefully a lot of announcements over the coming months around them territories and around some of the partnerships we have there as well.
So let's talk a little bit, since you are putting together a round, right? Your first big round. Some use of, first off, why, right? What's the purpose? Is it some strategic investors? Is it just for the fact that you've never raised? Use of funds? What are you going to put that money to work doing? And no lead yet, but you're making the rounds. So do you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to put some of that money to work doing, and why you decided to raise a round in the first place?
Yep, sure. Yeah. Yeah, the first real round, I guess, as such, as we mentioned earlier, we've bootstrapped since the very early days. We've created a profitable business and a long-term sustainable business, and we've now created introducing products around the world that others can't compete with or don't have, again, with the focus of Lightning. We saw Lightning in 2018 come to a reality on the Bitcoin blockchain. We've then since seen, I think, over the last 12 to 18 months, Lightning has really started to grab the attention and start to really be introduced into companies. We've seen Cash App, Cash App recently introduced it, and there's many more now starting to look at Lightning as the future of payments. I think with the El Salvador news at the end of last year, or June last year, about a year ago now, that really woke the world up to Lightning payments as the future of payments. And it became a little bit of an inflection point, I think, for Lightning and ourselves, as well as a company that was driving the Lightning side. Timing. So one reason, obviously, timing and the inflection point that we believe we're at with Lightning now and payments, and how we can start to bring them into the real world, how they then compete at a UX perspective, cost perspective, instant settlement perspective against Visa and MasterCards and traditional legacy payment methods. We're at a point now in time where that is a reality, and Lightning competes and betters all of what is there now. So the inflection point is one of why we want to jump on this quicker move, and the products we've created now, we want to push and market and drive them into territories that really require them. Two is what you mentioned there, strategic partners. We, as I mentioned earlier, we struggled over the years finding venture capital companies that actually had the same vision as ourselves, and they wanted to drag us in different directions. That was even before we'd even signed term sheets and things with them. So we eventually didn't take any of the funds offered along the way. We want strategic partners, but we want the strategic partners that have the same vision of Bitcoin and Lightning payments as we do. And we don't want to get dragged into blockchain concepts and ICO hypes and tokens here, there, and everywhere. We want to focus on what we do best and what we know best, which is Bitcoin and Lightning and payments. And three, I guess, third one is, I guess, timing right now as we expand into, as I touched on there, the South Americas, the MENA territories. We want to give the bulk card and Lightning payments the best opportunity. So the funds are quite heavily used for resource and marketing into them territories and driving into them territories, creating the partnerships with whether that be payment companies that already exist over there, or whether that be individuals over there that we're onboarding in certain ways from a what we saw similar to El Salvador with the Bitcoin Beach and the community side, and creating these local communities in these territories. That's where we want to drive our attention to South America's MENA territories. That's where the funds will be, I guess, heavily used and heavily driven. Of course, we'll keep a focus on the UK and Europe, and we'll continue with the current team we already have. We'll continue to drive the UK and Europe side of things as well. And as you mentioned, the US eventually. The US will be on our roadmap. It is already on our roadmap, and hopefully at some point this year we'll look to push live into the US as well.
So you're shipping those bulk cards worldwide right now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So get online and order one. Quick question on that. That's a bearer instrument, correct? You lose that bulk card, you're toast, or how does that work?
Nope. If you lose the bulk card is effectively tied to your CoinCorner balance at the minute if you're a CoinCorner customer. So you lose the bulk card, you lose nothing. Your Bitcoin is still held with your CoinCorner balance with CoinCorner. So there's no issues there. It doesn't matter. You can, from the app, you can disable the card, enable the card, you can wipe the card, you can set new cards up, you can set gift cards up and give them to your friends with $10 worth of Bitcoin on that they can then sweep into their personal wallets, so Breeze or Moon or Wallet Satoshi, they can sweep that into it as well as a gift card.
So for a US bloke like myself, do I have access to any of those tools, or do I have to wait till you're live here? I mean, I can order a card, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm just limited to using the card there, or can I still access the card and do some of that fun stuff that you mentioned through the app?
You can't, unfortunately, do it through our app. You can do it through some workarounds that we can provide. So if you run your own Lightning node, and you can run things like LN bits and create LN URL withdrawal addresses, which gives you access. There's a tutorial that's out there already, and it will show you how to do workarounds of non-custodial use of the bulk card. So you would then theoretically be able to do the same in any country around the world. It is a hell of a workaround, and it's quite an effort to do. So there's going to be few and far between people that'll do that. And that's where the CoinCorner app makes it very simple to set up. I can even, would you like me to show you? I can go and grab if we can 10 seconds, I'll go and grab one of the cards and I can show you how we set a card up as a gift card here and
You
now.
got it. Let's do it.
Yep.
I'll pause the video.
I'll just run and grab one.
And we're back. I've always wanted to say that. All right, go for it. Take it away.
Cool. So for anybody seeing, we have one of our gift cards here, which is the Honey Badger Vault card. And what I'm going to do is with the CoinCorner app here, as you can see just about that, I'm going to set up a gift card and just show you how quick and easy it is to quickly set up a gift card. So I'll just enter so I've got the Honey Badger ready to be set up. I just enter a description of anything and I can put 5,000 sats, enter 5,000 sats onto the card. I click the create button and it tells me to tap the card onto my phone. I tap that on there and that's done and successful. So now that card now has 5,000 sats ready to go on the card. If I give that to my friend, they pick the card up, they tap that on their phone. That will then list all of the apps that are compatible. And I can say, for example, pick Phoenix as a company that has nothing to do with us, but has lightning payments. As soon as that loads up, when it decides to load up, that will then straight away pull in the 5,000 sats. I click redeem, and that will pull in the 5,000 sats off the card into Phoenix. My internet is going a little bit slow at the minute. There we go. It's now loaded. So that's now just received 5,000 sats into my Phoenix wallet from CoinCorner from the Vault card.
Okay, well, since we're going over time and you have one of those in front of you, here's what's really cool about that, okay, is you give somebody a gift card, whether it's a Visa gift card, traditional, restaurant, clothing, that gift card is spent and that gift card is toast, right? It's in the trash, you cut it up. A lot of times you have a leftover balance. The amount that gets wasted as leftover balance on gift cards every year is insane. And what you have there with that gift card is a reusable product then that person gets to keep, because it's not just about the 5,000 sats on the card. That person now has an NFC lightning card in their pocket forever.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I explaining it wrong, or is that the fact?
Exactly right. Yeah, it's exactly right. So they can, if you give that to your friend, they've swept in the 5,000 sats. The card is now empty, but they can then set that card up themselves, add some sats on, give it to another friend. Or they could even tie this in to be your own bulk card and your own debit card to your CoinCorner account, for example. So I could go and use that and tap and pay in the shops. So yeah, it's completely reusable in gift card or debit card style.
So the way that you did that from the beginning was you were already inside the CoinCorner app, and then you created that gift card. If you just hold that gift card, which I saw this in person, but if you just hold the Bolt card to your phone, kind of static on your home screen, what does it prompt you for?
It to straight away it'll tell you which lightning wallets. So it'll pull in lightning wallets that you've got available. So I've got like Moon, Blue Wallet, Phoenix wallets, Target, CoinCorner on there, and then I'll be able to tap and it will try and pull in the sats off the card into whichever wallet you want to use. Okay,
so while we have you there, and I know that there's nothing on that Bolt card, can you pull up what the merchant interface would look like? Is that the same CoinCorner app, or is that a separate merchant kind of point of sale charging system? Can you pull that up?
I can go and get a point of sale device and I can show you a demo.
Let's do it. Sure.
Pause again.
And we're back. Now that looks like a Soon Me terminal. And is that branded CoinCorner? What is that?
This one is similar to the Sunme ones, but it's not the Sunme one. This one is, I guess, it's kind of like a standard Android POS system. So they're becoming more common now. Being Android, you can have more functionality, flexibility on POSs. So these are becoming more the popular thing.
Now, I am not seeing this on CoinCorner's website, and I want to see it. Why are you not selling those?
At the minute, we're actually giving these out to merchants. So to help, I guess, the release of the Bolt card, it was only 4 weeks ago. We've just been rolling these out to local merchants here in the Isle of Man. We have about 40 or maybe towards 50 merchants here in the Isle of Man now with these devices, accepting Bitcoin payments with the Bolt card or with any Bitcoin Lightning wallet. The Isle of Man's kind of been our test bed in terms of just trying to allow them onboarding the merchants and trialing out the bulk card, trialing out the payments, trialing out the POS, and seeing how everything works before we roll that out at a larger scale. So they're not on the website at the minute because we're not looking to quite sell them just yet, and we don't want to drive that just yet. We're wanting to really test it out properly, and then we'll start to drive it further afield with more of the software integration into current hardware that's out there.
So right now, that terminal is just for the NFC Lightning Bolt cards. Okay, that is not a terminal that also they can tie into their traditional payments and cards and fiat. That is just for your product, right?
Yeah, it just works for Bitcoin payments, Lightning payments, and the bulk card as well at the minute. So I'm just turn my hotspot on here just to connect to the device.
Yeah, those things are really cool, man.
But we're working with like a couple of other payment providers out there that eventually some of them actually have these devices that do use credit card, Visa, MasterCard on there and accept it. And then they'll be able to just tag Bitcoin payments in as well via ourselves, and then it'll do one machine that does all in one as well. So that'll be the eventual aim for these companies. So we have, I'm going to use my bulk card as well. So I'm going to use my bulk card, which is tied to my CoinCorner account. So we have the POS interface here for CoinCorner merchants. It'll effectively, as soon as they go into the app, jump up with how much they want to invoice for. So if I just enter £1, and that will then bring up an invoice and a QR code. So if you had a normal Bitcoin wallet, you could scan the QR code and make the payment. Alternatively, you can then just tap the card at the top of the screen. That now is making the payment, and the payment's done. So that's already sent a Lightning payment from my CoinCorner balance to the merchant, and they've received the Lightning payment there within, that was probably two seconds, was it maybe? So it's now a much quicker, easier UX experience that you just have to tap and pay. You don't have to get your phone out, unlock your phone, scan QR codes. It's tap, pay, done, and it can be done within seconds. And from a consumer perspective, you're effectively offline as well. So you don't need internet connectivity or anything. You can tap and pay without internet.
Okay, that is so cool. That is so cool. Okay, so two things. I went to the Adopting Bitcoin conference last year in El Salvador, and it's a little bit of a challenge, right? Where Bitcoin is, mandated to be accepted everywhere. It's definitely a challenge. It's a challenge for merchants. It's a challenge for a lot of people. And I can only imagine that getting this into a country like El Salvador's hands and widely distributed fixes all the friction. I mean, it was. Okay, so that's absolutely incredible. That is a really, really amazing demo. I'm going to order myself a Bolt card right now, actually. And real quick on the travel schedule, upcoming the rest of the year, conferences. I know there's a few near you. Will you be anywhere that anyone can meet you and chat you up?
Yep, we have a lot, I think. So October is going to be a busy period. There's a conference in Amsterdam it's just been announced, I think, yesterday or today, which is Bitcoin Magazine one. So similar to the Bitcoin Miami side. That's Amsterdam on I think the 12th, 13th and 14th of October. So we should be there for that. We also have one in October in Edinburgh in the UK. So we should also be there for that. And I think quite a few of the team will be there for that. That's, I think, I can't remember what date, that's like the 22nd of October, I think, around then. And I might also be at Lugano in Switzerland. They've got one also at the end of October lined up there. So I think they're the three at the minute that I'll probably be looking to attend and maybe do talks and panels at them as well. And then the next one, maybe the Bitcoin Miami next, is it May, or if we even know it's in Miami next year.
All right, cool. So I think that we're gonna be at the that Amsterdam event as well. So maybe we'll see you there. And very cool. All right. Well, that is Danny from CoinCorner. He's an OG Bitcoiner. He's built an amazing company that is just getting started. They're doing everything. You just saw a killer demo from the Bolt card. Get out and order one now. And that's it, Danny. How do people find you on Twitter?
Cool. Yeah, thank you, Mike. Appreciate this as well. I'm on CoinCorner Danny. CoinCorner is a Twitter handle as well, and there's plenty of the rest of the team out there. CoinCorner Molly, CoinCorner Zach, CoinCorner Dave. You'll see the theme there: CoinCorner followed by the name. So yeah, we're all there on Twitter, very active.
All right, cool, man. Well, listen, Danny, thanks for hanging, and we are really excited to be participating and supporting you.
Cool. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right, peace, buddy.
Take care.